Hello and welcome back. As you can remember, we put the triptych into the kiln. It's finished cooking. It takes about 24 hours in all, and I'm now about to open the kiln to find out what magic has happened. Fingers crossed that everything is going to be okay. Oh wow, yes, I'm really pleased with that. All the colours have worked out perfectly. The yellow has gone orange as I said it would. The very pale yellow has gone a beautiful marigold yellow, and that blue has actually turned the purple that it's supposed to. I'm really pleased with that. I can see though that these edges are not exactly straight. Now that happens because the way the glass melts, the way that it's pulling together as the process takes place. So I know that that's going to need some cold work. Now the cold work is something that's essential. It makes something gives something that professional look. So it's also the part that's the total it's also the part that I hate. Not many people like cold work. It's wet, it's noisy, and it's laborious. But it is essential, and that's the way that we get the professional look on our work. So I'll take you now to show you where this takes place. I won't actually show you how, because as I say, it is noisy, wet and dirty. But I'll explain the tools that I use to do it. Okay? Right, here's one of the pieces of the triptych. First thing we have to do is clean off the dust that it picks up in the kiln from the kiln shelf paper. The paper, as I said before, actually stops it from sticking to the shelf. So this is the first piece, and I may have, there's two machines I can use. One of them is this grinding machine, and water is essential in everything that we do in cold work because we need to keep the glass cool. So we turn it on, and as you can see, it spins round, and I would move this glass up and down until it's actually totally straight. I'm not going to do it now because it is a process that I don't particularly want to get wrong at this stage by talking to you at the same time as trying to concentrate. Right, we've seen the other grinder that I use, and that's usually for edges, straightening edges. But this is a contraption that we cobbled together to make a grinding wheel. The ones that we can buy off the internet and various places are about £3.5 which I just didn't have. So I've used a very cheap potter's wheel, and I've attached the grinding wheel onto the spinning wheel. And this is a diamond. These are expensive enough in their own right. Because they are diamond, because that's that's harder than glass, so it will grind it down. This comes in several grades. This is a 400 at the moment, which is the first start. You then would go to a 600, an 800, a 1200, until you get to the polishing stage, so you've got the polished edges again. This is a bowl here that I made earlier in the Blue Peter fashion. And I will, it needs to be ground round the edges to straighten all of those edges up. So this is ideal for bowls because you can lay it flat, you can turn it on, you can hold it in its position, and all the sides are going to be equal. So what we do is, we turn it on. We can control it with a foot pedal so it can go faster or slower. We need the water on again, which is again a little hydro-filled, but gravity-filled tube, using things that we had about the house anyway. Sorry about the noise, we're actually filming here in a hoolie. There's that terrible wind going on, and I must admit, it's not from me. Anyway, we'll go on, and I'll show, and so we've got this going, but as I say, it does make a dreadful noise, so I won't actually do it. But as you can see, that's the way that we would cold work this kind of thing. You do need usually a waterproof pinny in order to be able to just turn the water off to save me water. And so that's the way we do that. I couldn't really do the the triptych on this because it's too wide, and as you can see, the wheel here is inside of a bowl to hold the water. So I'll probably use that machine to do that, and then probably have to polish it up by hand using various grades of wet and dry paper. And that is a very long, laborious job. I could also use grit. You can buy grit in several layers of grittiness, and put it down onto a piece of glass and just rub it backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards and backwards. But that could take hours, if not days. So we won't go into that because you'll get bored. So I hope you've enjoyed this little tour of my studio and the things that I use to work with, and things that I actually do, and the processes I use. And I look forward to carrying on.